Not sure what cards you want to start off with? No need to worry, I got a tier list coming right up for you. Stay tuned. Alrighty, welcome back, Zenon freaks. Excited about the game? I know I am. Hopefully it'll be out tomorrow and I can show you exactly how to reroll, but for now I'll show you what's worth aiming for. As soon as you start the game, you will be able to roll 10 awaken packs before you do anything else, and that's really cool. If you don't get anything good, you can just go ahead and start over from there without going through a tutorial or anything like that. Now let me start off with a disclaimer though. This is purely opinion. This is only a guide. You can play the game however you want, and you don't need legend cards or any of the cards on this list to win or to have fun. But if you're unfamiliar with the game or anything like that, or you just want to know my opinion, then I'll go ahead and give that to you now. So let's not waste any more time and get straight into it. Wallace the Courageous is an S tier pick. The extra BP and DP that he gives you can turn the game around or even push the advantage that you already have. And he's also colorless, so you can use him in a wide variety of decks. Now I'm not sure if it'll be in the global version, but in the Japanese version you can buy a pre-built deck that has 2 copies of Wallace the Courageous in it. So if you plan on spending money and getting that deck, then it might be worth to try to find something else in your opening rolls. Otherwise, Wallace would be a good pick. Latch Assist, the Decider of Fate, is also an S tier. She deals big damage just for summoning her, as she switches your opponent's life with one of your force points. She's also colorless, so you can use her in pretty much any deck. Her 9 cost is expensive, but that can easily be worked around. And last for the S tier cards is Baldraw the Blazing Demon. He's got high performance removal power. Not a lot of stuff can get past the 1200 BP mark, so he can hit a lot of targets. He's also colorless, which means you can use him in pretty much any deck. And the damage to your force can even be beneficial at times. If you destroy your own force at the right time, you can get a base minion you need from your deck and draw an additional card. For the A tier, I've got Vicerave, Alazan, and Millie. These cards are easy to build around in their respective color, and they have strong effects. Vicerave forces your opponent to block all your attacks, and adds extra pressure when Vicerave is blocked. Alazan can swarm the field and remove a blocker when he attacks. And Millie has high synergy with many green cards, giving them even more control of the game. These B tier cards are strong, but require other cards to bring out their max potential. Alba, Belphegor, Chiliad, Arondai, and Alabaster are all amazing finishers for their respective decks, but they're a bit expensive to cast, so you might not get to use them every game. Cards like Pandoria, Tilt and Welt, Arcus, and Enrico can enable some powerful strategies, but they're hard to use on their own. They're worth keeping if you plan on using a deck that needs them. Next is the post-tutorial reroll tier list. If you open some good cards in your first 10 packs and you still want to proceed to open another strong card, then you should aim for these. Now once again, I want to give a disclaimer. This is just a guide, just my opinion, and you don't have to do this in order to get a good start. It's just my opinion. Just trying to get some more knowledge out there. Here are the criteria for getting the grades that I gave the cards. The S tier cards can be used alone. They make for strong finishers, and they're easy to use with a relatively low investment, meaning you don't need a lot of other epic and legendary cards to make them really shine. A tier cards are very strong when used alone, or they're even stronger within the archetype. And B tier cards are strong cards, but need to be used with other rare cards or have a high casting cost. For the red cards, Emily, Conjurer the Burning Embers is an S tier. She's easy to use because there are a lot of many cheap dwarf cards, and her summon minion, the Infernal Ring, has a really powerful removal effect. Flare'Zar is also an S tier card. It's removal, a board wipe, and a finisher all in one card, and it's very easy to use, because all you really need is one base minion to boost it to be able to transform it. Amelia is an A tier card. She's the core of the red sword deck, which is a top tier deck. Solo, once you play him and transform him, is a dual attacker and a really strong finisher. And Magma Fang has board control, and is really hard to block, despite his high cost. Aegis makes a great finisher for a golem deck if you decide to take that route. Now for yellow cards, we'll put Asami at S tier because there are many cheap avian minions in yellow to be able to level her up. And the level 3 Ruler of the Azir is an amazing finisher, with a lot of synergy with yellow cards. Azir and the Binder of Souls is a staple for yellow decks. I'm pretty sure you want to include 2 to 3 of these cards in any yellow deck you build, just because its effect is so generically strong. Moral, the Sword of Kanatana is strong disruption for any yellow deck. He can shut down Lachesis and other threats on his own just by having them out on the field. Elixir and Amelia are taking up A tier. Elixir has very strong removal and is hard to block. Amelia is very easy to summon and even stronger when combined with Lucia. I have Amelia in A tier because she can be used with or without Lucia, and she's still going to be a good card. But Lucia really needs Amelia the Drifter to shine. On her own, she's decent removal, but when you transform her and combine her with Amelia, she's an amazing finisher. Khan has powerful synergy with the Chimera deck, and Harden increases the amount of minions you have in play and also gives them a BP and DP buff to boot. For the white card, Sarah the Conjurer of the Metallic Steed is very good. She's very easy to use alone, and her conjured minion, the Chrome Charger, has a very powerful board wipe ability even without androids. Schneiden the Cyborg Samurai is also an S tier card. His magic block ability is strong even when used alone, and he has great compatibility with the Chrome Charger. Frieren is hard to block, making it really easy to activate his banish ability. Whenever he deals damage, you banish all of your opponent's lowest cost minions, and since he can only be blocked by dragons, his ability will usually go off if he survives. And Griffon is near unblockable. When she transforms, he'll have 1100 power, and he switches to active mode whenever he defeats another minion, meaning that 2 damage is probably gonna get through. Now green was a little difficult for me because this tier list is based off of how good these cards are to start off with and not necessarily how good they are in a top competitive environment. So you might see some weird choices here, but I do have Sylvie in the S tier because he has high synergy with boost base minion. When you summon him, he switches all of your nymphs to active mode, and he's really easy to use. Getting his effect, it doesn't really take much setup. I've also got Twin Horn Treewalker the Impaler as S tier. He's got huge stats and excellent removal resistance, but he does have a high cost, and he has a lot of synergy with mana ramp decks as well, allowing him to get huge DP. All you gotta do is give him Pierce, and he can end the game in one shot. So Rocky is A tier. He's hard to block like the other dragon, and he has a really strong disruption ability as well. Victoria the Gilded Knight is also a good card because she's easy to use alone. She doesn't need to combo with anything in order to get any effects, and the effects themselves are really strong as well. I have Ovi in B tier. It is a core card in the elf deck, and her summoned minion is extremely powerful. But a lot of the elves in the game are legends and epics, the ones that you want to use anyway. So she's a little harder to use on her own than the other 2 cards I have listed. I have one S tier card for blue, and that's Orca the Turbulent, who transforms into Orca the Tempestuous King. This is a really high performance finisher. Giving all of your blue minions infiltrate can end a game like nothing. It's also really easy to use, and it has a strong ability when you summon it and when it's attacking. This card is just good all around. Helix the Trilance is a good choice for any blue aggro deck, and it has a lot of synergy with the Seaworm deck too. Maria Knight of Poseidon has Infiltrate, making it harder to block, which means that you can get a lot of value from retrieving magic from your trash, since this card usually won't be defeated in battle. Bruna Conjurer the Magus I have in B tier for the same reason I had Ova in B tier. It's got high synergy with blue, since I have a lot of merfolk and magic, but you really need a dedicated deck for it to shine. You can clear your opponent's board and get a lot of attacks off with Jui, and it even reduces the cost of the magic in your hand, making it really easy to pull off. But you have to make sure that you have other merfolk and good magic to use with it. Yami, Conjurer of the Everlasting Night, I have as S tier for purple, because their summon minion Andoros has a decent effect even when he's used alone. And purple has many skeletons, making it really easy to level up as well. If you can get Andoros to level 3, it's going to be really hard for your opponent to deal with. Rekindle has a lot of synergy with purple force destruction deck, because it deals 2 damage to a force when summoned, and when he's transformed, he can revive field minions based off of the number of forces your opponent has destroyed. Unfortunately, he can't turn a game around on his own, but his effect is still really good. Saishi has a whopping 3 DP and can steal your opponent's minion. However, he's pretty hard to use on his own. You need cards to put cards from your opponent's deck into their trash to really make him shine. Shatterborne is hard to block just like the other dragon, and he also has a really strong destruction ability, but he does have a high cost of 9 that might not make it seem worth playing this card. He also has synergy with cards that take advantage of your trash. Now on to colorless. Rita the Divine Shot is definitely an S tier card. It's easy to use in any deck with the Phoenix Force, and Phoenix is probably the best force in the game in my opinion. She's a strong generic answer to wide boards, and even if there aren't any cards to destroy, she can become a powerhouse beater. I had to give Lars an S-. He's a really powerful card that's easy to use in any deck. All you have to do is place him in your base and you'll get the effect. He's also got really high synergy with other evoker based decks, since he's an evoker himself, and his samurai spirit that he summons gets even stronger for each evoker in your base. But the reason why I give him an S- is because you need multiple copies of this card for maximum effectiveness. Lars is different from other evoker based minions. All you have to do is place him in the base and he'll level up. So the first copy you play will give you the samurai spirit to make your next Lars level 2. Then when you play that level 2 Lars, you grab a Ryujin Terra and your next Lars will be level 3. And when you play that one, you get Shinryu Aether, a very powerful field minion. However, you do need 3 copies of Lars in order to get this, so I had to take him down a peg. Thanks for watching my reroll tier list. Go ahead and click here for the next video, or you can check out my other Zenonzard reviews, and make sure you subscribe for more English Zenonzard content. Go ahead and leave this video a like, and leave me a comment telling me what card you're hoping to start off with. See you all in the next video.